Music has always been a hot topic, a point of conversation in the culture. And I think it's always been a conversation of how does music impact people and what effect is music having on people. And even more so now, it feels like the conversation is centering around what is being put forth, the type of music that is in the forefront, the type of music that is now mainstream, and the impact that it's having. You see conversations around artists like Sexy Red, Megan Thee Stallion, Sukihana, and a lot of these other female rappers. While to a certain degree, I do understand where a lot of people are coming from, a lot of this new age music is over sexualized, is very raunchy, it's very degrading. It could be leading to a degradation of the culture. At the same time, I think about this all the time. And when people say they don't make music like they used to, even though I was born in the 1900s, I'm not a fan of generational shaming. The same way we have this wild music now, we had in generations past, my generation and generations before that.
The point of this video is because my thought is, has the music always been this? Has it always been like this in the culture, or was it niche and then the niche flipped to the mainstream? Or were they able to class up a lot of the very raunchy and over sexualized innuendos or music and make it different, make it sound different? What spurred on this video? I made a video about this song, I think sometime last year, and I come back to this song, I talk about it. This is an Atlanta club classic. Dump that. It's a song that talks about something very specific, but it's a part of the Atlanta zeitgeist. It's a part of the Atlanta culture. And I think this song is also very indicative. Like I said in my other video, I think this song is also very indicative to a lot of culture in Atlanta. I'm not knocking this song. I like this song. But I think that this song, it shows a lot of the culture that exists in Atlanta. I think it shows that there's always been a level of raunchiness in the music. Maybe it was more niche, maybe it was more underground, but it's always been there. And I think there's something else that plays an even bigger role in the niche culture. I remember being a young man. I remember being a young man, some nights staying up late to watch BET Uncut. It was something you did sometimes. At that time, BET Uncut was very niche. It was like the most niche thing. Even though if you knew, you knew. If you watch, you watch. A lot of the songs that were on BET Uncut are way, way worse than the songs that we hear now and the songs that are more mainstream. But I think part of it is a lot of those songs were never ever mainstream. So then the question becomes, how did this BT Uncut niche culture get flipped into the mainstream culture? Or again, as I said before, has it always been there? It's just we didn't recognize it or we didn't see it. Because even with the questionable stuff that they play nowadays, will they play What That Thing Smell Like? Black Jesus, the seminal BT Uncut classic, one of the seminal BT Uncut classics. Will they play that on the radio the same way that they play a lot of these new songs? I don't know. I really don't know if you're going to hear What That Thing Smell Like on the radio. I really don't know if we're going to find out what that thing smells like tonight on the radio. I just don't know if I can see it. Is another aspect of the change and the shift access. I remember, I think the first time I ever saw the P popping video was on the internet. I think it would maybe been like YouTube or like another one of those random sites. That's the first time I ever remember seeing the video and the unedited video for this song. I think Tip Drill was like a rare exception at the time. They played the regular video on music video channels, but then they played the unedited version on BT Uncut. And there was a huge difference between these two videos. I also think you got access to this video on the internet, but I remember seeing this video on BET sometimes during the day. Not the unedited version, because the unedited version was a lot different than the version that we saw. I feel like BT did like a behind the music video for this song, if I remember correctly. Maybe I'm misthinking, but if I remember correctly, there was a behind the music for this song or for the video.
But this song was a big deal, and there was a big uproar behind it. This song is also almost like a generation old at this point, which is kind of crazy to think about. But this is a song from my generation, and it's a wild song.
It is also important to recognize that the way in which music is made, music that impacts the culture, has continued to shift. Like, if you look at the song When We by Tank, a lot of older generations were upset when they found out what the song was actually talking about. They didn't realize what the song was talking about. They loved it at first, but then when they were like, all right, now that I know what the song is talking about, I don't like it. So there has been a shift. in the way in which R&B music is made. And I think R&B played an important role in the culture and the way in which the culture is seen, or the way in which people are supposed to act in the culture. R&B now has a bit of a harder edge to a certain degree. You also hear R&B artists talk about addiction now, and not just to women, but to hard substances. At the same time, I think if we went back and listened to some of these doo-wop artists back in the day, a lot of people wouldn't even realize a lot of these doo-wop artists are probably talking about heroin. That's probably what they were talking about. We can't pretend like a lot of these artists didn't have addictions and they didn't have stuff. So, were they able to class the music up, or has the music always been raunchy?
I want to take it back into time. Let's start with Sam Cooke, You Sent Me. Let's start with Sam Cooke, You Send Me. A great R&B song. What type of love was Sam Cooke talking about? And yes, this is one of the more milder songs, but clearly it's sexual. It's sensual and it's sexual in nature. So is it classy in a certain way because he doesn't come out right and say certain things? Yes, it is. But is that different? Does that lead to something? Does that lead to a progression of something?
Teddy Pendergrass, Turn Off the Lights. There's no way to get around it. Unc was getting freaky on this song. This song is freaky and spicy. He says, I want to pour some burning hot oils. Like Teddy Pendergrass is getting wild on this song. There's no way around it. But again, is there a classiness to this that lets you subvert what's your beliefs and what you believe is raunchy? Me and Mrs. Jones. People talk about the old school woman and all this other stuff. This song is clearly about cheating. This song is clearly about this guy cheating with another woman that is not his. So, what happened? What's going on? Is it because of the way the song is done and the way the song sounds? Bootsy Collins' I'd Rather Be With You is another prime example. Have people listened to the lyrics of this song and kind of the entirety of the song and what Bootsy is actually talking about? This song progresses to him talking about being with a woman because the woman allowed him to let go on her face. That's what I got from this song. If you listen to the song in its entirety and you listen to the whole song, that's what Bootsy is talking about. He would rather be with a woman because she's sexual. She lets him do things to her that other women may not do. That's my interpretation. Because at the end of the day, he says, I want to stick my love in your eye. I want you to see me coming with both eyes open or something like that. But Boosie was talking crazy on this song. Michael Jackson is another great example. People see his music as one way because of the way he was, but a lot of his music was over sexualized. It was very sexualized. You can look at songs like Dirty Diana. Billie Jean is a sexual song. Whether people like it or not, it is. People talk about Thriller as a Halloween anthem. This is Michael talking about Netflix and chill before there was Netflix and chill. I might even argue that Human Nature, to a degree, was a song about being sensual and intimate with a woman. Some people might disagree, but that's how I interpreted the song. I wonder again, is it the music and the fact that the lyrics are more raunchy, or is it that we hear what we want to hear? I was listening to Jesse Powell You, which is a great song, a very soft, sweet R&B song, a song that a lot of people see as a wedding song. And I was watching the video, and as I was watching the video, I looked at the lyrics again. This song sounds like it's actually about a man who has cheated on his woman several times, or a man who has done something to his woman. He finally is like, all right, now it's time for me to do what I need to do for this to be my woman and be my woman truthfully, be my woman for real, for real. That's what I interpret the song as now, looking at the video and then looking at the lyrics of the song. So is it that we hear what we want to hear when it comes to music? We give a lot of music bail. Is it just that this music nowadays is beyond raunchy and beyond over sexualized, and it's also morally corrupt and stuff like that? I want to end this with two things, really. Next, Too Close. The internet talks about this song all the time and what this song is actually about. Being in the club with, you see what the first lyric is. And this song came out when I was in middle school, I want to say, if not before that. It might have been like middle school, sometime around then. But this song is old. Like, this song is almost 2 decades old. And we see what this song is talking about. We see what this song is about. Lastly, I want to end this with Freaknik. And this isn't a knock to anyone that was at Freaknik, who may have participated in Freaknik. I got stuck in Freaknik traffic before. You remember how people were almost in a tizzy. They said they were going to sue. I believe that might have been fake, but they said they were going to sue for that Freaknik documentary. What music were they playing during Freaknik? What was the big hit, the big song during Freaknik? I could probably look it up and have some good ideas, but what song drove that culture? Because again, Freaknik is almost what, 3 decades ago? what shifted and what changed in the culture to where now people see it as overly sexualized and overly raunchy? Or again, has it always been that? Just wondering, just asking a question.